And moving on, ahead of the parliament session, a war has broken out. The opposition is up in arms after the centre introduced the ordinances that extend the tenure of the directors of the CBI and ED up to 5 years. The objection of the opposition is multifold, and it has vowed to oppose it tooth and nail in the parliament. Opposition says it's just another attempt by the centre to turn India into a quote-unquote elected autocracy. Mamata Banerjee's TMC has already moved to separate statutory resolutions against the ordinance. And there's some breaking news coming in.
अध्यादेश कोई नहीं हो सकता और मेरा यह मानना है कि सारे राजनीतिक दलों को जो भारत के संविधान में विश्वास करते हैं सामूहिक तौर पर इस अध्यादेश को उच्चतम न्यायालय में चुनौती देनी चाहिए.
It should have been done through a valid legislation in Parliament, which would have enabled people to discuss it threadbare. This would have been in accord with the spirit of the Constitution. It would have been in accord with the spirit of पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी.
15 दिन बाद पार्लियामेंट शुरू होने वाली है. भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार को इतनी जल्दी क्या है भाई? ऑर्डिनेंस ला के आप ईडी सीबीआई के ऑफिसर्स का अवधि उनका टेन्योर 5 साल करना चाहते हैं. या तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार के मन में चोर है या ये अपने अधिकारियों को ऑबलाइज करना चाहते हैं.
And there's some breaking news coming in. Former CBI Director AP Singh has backed the centre's ordinance and claimed that he was the first one to propose the fixed 5-year tenure of the CBI Director during the UPA regime. Listen in to what he had to tell us.
Sir, how do you see the changes and which the government has come with?
When this Lokpal bill was coming in 2011, before the standing committee, we had made 2 important recommendations. One was that the CBI director should be appointed by a high-powered committee consisting of the PM, the leader of opposition, and the Chief Justice. The reason for this was that people always thought that the CBI director is a government nominee, and to make it a neutral kind of a selection, the idea was that you have a high-powered committee consisting of the people I just mentioned. That was one recommendation. The second recommendation we made was that the CBI director should get a fixed 5-year tenure. This was basically based on the FBI. FBI director gets 10 years because you have very important investigations and prosecutions.
How do you see this 2+1+1 thing? Because like you had also proposed that there should be fixed tenure.
Yeah, I agree that this will be controversial. As I just mentioned now, that if you don't give
how do you see this?
Yeah, I see it as controversial because if you don't give a director an extension, then obviously it will be controversial. If it just routinely you're doing it and giving everybody an extension, it's okay. But the day you don't give it, then people will ask questions why.
And the total term of the Home Secretary, Defence Secretary, IB Chief and RAW Chief can't exceed 2 years, not the extended term. That's the information coming in the Gazette notification that has now been issued as well. Bhavtosh is with us. Bhavtosh, very interesting that the centre has gone ahead and published that in the Gazette notification. But what is very interesting is that the very idea of a 5-year term is not new. It's something that was proposed by past CBI Director AP Singh, and he's speaking to Times Now telling us that this is an idea which he believes the time has come for, given the example of other global bodies which are investigating agencies like the FBI, where they have a fixed tenure.
Yes, Madhav, in fact, about the fact that the post and the directorship of the CBI should not be of 2 years, but it should be of 5 years. And minimum it should be of 3 years. In fact, he made the statement not only before the media, but also made various representation. In fact, the standing committee of Rajya Sabha, which was looking into Lok Ayukta and Lokpal bill, rejected his proposal and said that no, it cannot be accepted, and that post of the director of CBI and also that of director of prosecution should only be of 2 years. CBI director, the then CBI director AP Singh always said that CBI is looking into some very serious crimes like 2G case and also controversial encounters in Gujarat, and CBI director should not be binded by a tenure of just 2 years. Now, those who are opposing this always said that that 2 years is enough time for CBI director to complete the probe, and that he should not exceed more than 2 years.
Right.
So the entire controversy is about the ordinance that has been brought in. Many are saying that this has been done only to make sure that the present director of Enforcement Directorate should get an extension.
All right. Thanks so much, Bhavtosh, for joining us with that update. Certainly very, very significant development there. We're going to continue with a discussion on this particular matter in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest. RP Singh is with us, national spokesperson of the BJP. With us also is Sarthak Naik, advocate, joining us from the national capital. With us also is Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Riju Datta is also with us, spokesperson of the TMC, and Sanjay Hegde also joining us. Ghanshyam Tiwari, now very, very important over here is that the concept itself, the idea itself is not new. This is something that has been proposed over 10 years ago. This is when, in fact, close to 10 years ago, when Mr. AP Singh was at the helm of affairs at the CBI, and he says that he is open to the idea and has himself proposed the idea of the actual tenure being fixed at 5 years. So if the idea itself is not new, can you really fault the government on that note, in theory?
Good evening, Madhav, to you, my fellow co-panelists, and all your viewers. Two things stand out. One is, if you look at 1998 to 2014, when Modi government was formed, in that period, there were around 8 CBI directors. And then you look at from 2014 to 2021, again, another 8 CBI directors. So here's a government, here's a prime minister with thumping majority in Lok Sabha, does not trust his own officers, does not trust his own judgment appointing these officers. Second is, when important cases play out, let's take the case of Rafale, when new evidence points that for 3 years, this CBI was sitting with information provided by the Mauritian authority, and it was probably not shared with the Supreme Court. So you know that there is not a single case that is a hallmark of fairness from CBI under this regime. In such a scenario, when leader of opposition, and I have the paper from today, it's a bizarre state of democracy in India. Leader of the opposition is saying that the Supreme Court should step in. Supreme Court Chief Justice is saying that it is important to preserve and protect the independence of judiciary. Everyone, every stakeholder of our democracy and its institutions is saying that this government is out there to get us. And that is the reason we do not trust the judgment of this government. Even if it was an idea from the past, the fact that this government is so insecure is visible from its placements, visible from its choice of cases, going after various leaders and sitting on evidence, that there is bound to be debate. And the fact that this government did not discuss this in parliament, brought the ordinance.
Okay.
If you look at this government itself, they have brought more ordinance than any past 2 or 3 governments combined.
Okay, number of questions coming there from Ghanshyam Tiwari, and I'm going to put those across to Mr. RP Singh. Mr. RP Singh, 2 points stand out. One is that the entire legal framework is being changed for one individual, that is the incumbent in one of those agencies. Point number 1. Point number 2, institutions are all talking about their independence and how the need to preserve that independence is important. And thirdly, the question of the ordinance. Why not wait 2 weeks for Parliament, sir, and actually ratify it, bring it out as a law? Because 29th, we know that the winter session is scheduled to begin in Delhi.
Madhav, I heard Ghanshyam Tiwari. I hope patience will be given to me and I will be not interrupted in between. Ghanshyam Tiwari's party has been on leash throughout UPA regime. The leaders of the party were on leash, we all know, by CBI. There were cases, there were applications being filed one way, and after some understanding happens for the support of the government, the affidavit would change. But let me go back to little history. What happened to Kathauti and who used the CBI in case of Kathauti? Let's go to Sajjan Kumar and Jagdish Chatter's case. I have a complete list. Coal scam. What happened to coal scam? What happened of Shankaracharya? Janendra Saraswati. He was arrested and then let off by the court because he was arrested with CBI. Similarly, pressure was being built to arrest Mr. Mohd Bhagwat ji, the RSS chief, by NIA. I have G.K. Skilling on record who said I was made to change the affidavit by the Home Minister.
No, but that's not the issue at hand, sir. That's not the issue at hand.
Can I
Misuse.
complete?
If other regimes have misused the CBI, how is this regime any different? Because this regime came with the promise of cracking down on corruption and misuse of agencies at a time when the CBI was being called a cage parrot by the same Supreme Court. Clearly, it was the BJP that claimed that this is an agency that is completely in its control, and the allegation now once again is the same.
Well, if there's a fixed term, then how does it? I mean, we are going ahead with the same thing which the opposition were asking. That let CBI be free. Let the CBI chief or the ED chief be free. If there's a fixed term for 5 years, so they'll do the needful. I mean,
but why not do that when Parliament
is
is in session? Why not pass a law? You are just 2 weeks away. There is no urgent need, no tearing hurry to actually go ahead and do it right now, Mr. R.P. Singh. What is the urgency?
Well, Madhav, it will be taken to the Parliament also. I mean, ordinance has been passed. It will obviously, no ordinance can stay without being brought to the Parliament. It's not like earlier government which brought an ordinance way back in 50s and that was until 2019-30. This will obviously go to the Parliament. I mean, let's wait for that time also.
Okay.
But I mean, you can't deprive the government of taking decisions for the welfare of the people or for the welfare of the state.
Okay, let Riju Datta respond to that. He is shaking his head very vigorously. Riju Datta, I know that the TMC has approached the Raj Sabha and they will be seeking clarifications, so the government seeking a discussion on the same. But R.P. Singh says that this ordinance anyway has to pass muster through the Parliament. So don't worry, we will ensure that it passes through the parliamentary procedures. Your response to that, Riju Datta?
Thank you. You know, I will go back to what you were asking him, that the Parliament winter session begins barely 15 days. Why this hurry? Now the thing is, we have to understand what is an ordinance. An ordinance is an emergency resolution. TMC is the first party that has moved the statutory resolution in the upper house of the Parliament against these two brazen ordinances by extending the tenure of the ED and CBI directors. Now you have to see, I'll give you facts and figures. In the last 30 years, you see, every 10 bills that passed, there has been one ordinance. That is the pre-Modi era. But post-Modi era, in the Parliament, if you see, there are 4 ordinances for every 10 bills passed. So basically what has happened is, this is the Gujarat model over again. 2 + 1 + 1. So basically they don't want that parrot to fly. They want the cage parrot for 5 years inside the cage. This is mocking the Parliament, mocking the Constitution, and anyone who respects the Constitution of the law of the land will oppose this. And we don't want to take credit for it. I'm saying this on record, that every opposition party, TMC is the first party to file a statutory resolution. Every opposition party will join in this, and we will fight tooth and nail to oppose these ordinances. We have to protect India from becoming an elected autocracy. This cannot go on. And we and the viewers understand why this has been done in such haste.
Okay.
Because UP election and some high-profile elections are on the way before 2020.
Well, I did see some others also come out and comment on this, and I want to go across to Aman Sinha on that note. Aman Sinha, there are those who believe that all of this is being done for one particular officer who is heading one particular agency, and his term ends in 4 days. And that's the reason why the government is not even waiting for the winter session, where it could easily have gone and passed this as a law if it wanted to.
No, Madhav, any government is entitled to issue an ordinance, and it's a misconception that this ordinance extends the tenure to 5 years. In fact, it only prescribes a maximum outer limit of 5 years, which is subject to reconsideration every year, and written reasons are to be assigned, written grounds are to be assigned by a high-powered statutory committee, which obviously can be put to judicial scrutiny at any point in time by anybody. So there are a large number of checks and measures also. And in today's time and age, Madhav, of complex financial transactions which have different layers, which are camouflaged, and large, long, drawn-out investigations,
but
there is a need for continuity.
Aman Sinha, that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point I want to make. You know, even AP Singh, who prescribed that 5-year tenure, says that this is controversial. He says, how can you have a 2 + 1 + 1 formula? Because the whole idea is like in FBI, you have a 10-year tenure. There are long investigations, there are long prosecutions, agreed. And if that is the idea, give a fixed 5-year tenure. You're not even doing that in this case, and making the officer more susceptible to political pressure, perhaps.
No, Madhav, 5 years is the outer limit which has been prescribed. And supposing if there are no such investigations and one can have a new incumbent at the top, then obviously, there is no need for any reconsideration or extension.
But doesn't that give more power to the government to control who is doing which investigation?
In order to ensure the institutional objectives. Sorry, Madhav, you were saying something?
No, I'm just saying that so there's a huge amount of executive power riding in whoever decides whether the prosecutions have been completed or not. Let me get in Sanjay Hegde on that note. Sanjay Hegde, do you think this logic is sound? That if there are important prosecutions, the person's tenure can be extended. Who decides that? And who has that power is a very, very important aspect as well.
See, this ordinance permits the government, with the approval of the committee, to give extension. Now the question is, have you
strengthened the institution or have you weakened it? Please imagine a situation where you put the army chief on such extensions. 2 years plus 1 year plus 1 year. Would that strengthen the army or perish the thought? Okay, supposing the Chief Justice of India were to be subject to such a regime. Would you trust an institution like that? This is weakening of the institution. It basically says that the head of the institution is there contingent on satisfactory behavior, especially, he's barely come into office with and about a year and a half later, he's looking for his first extension. Thereafter, every year, extension after extension for a period of 5 years. It is not as if any investigation will suffer if an equally competent man replaces the previous man. There is nothing which prevents any investigator from tapping into the expertise of the previous official. Even today, we are told that in this government, when ministers were fired and new ministers replaced them, the subsequent ministers were asked to go and speak to the previous incumbent. You get briefed by them. So this bogey that things can't be completed and that everything is dependent on one particular incumbent seeing it through and then being forever grateful for extension after extension is in effect equating the man and the institution and then weakening the man and ultimately the institution.
Okay, I wanted to ask one question of Sarthak Naik. Sarthak Naik, I'm going to move a little beyond this administrative and governmental control issue and move on to what the Supreme Court said on the 7th of September 2021, which I'm sure being a senior advocate you would be aware of. But for the sake of our viewers, I just want to quickly read out 2 sentences from what was delivered as in terms of a judgment. In the case of Common Cause versus Union of India, the bench comprised of Justices L.N. Rao and B.R. Gawai, who upheld the power of Union of India to extend the tenure of the current ED director beyond 2 years in rare and exceptional circumstances. Such extension can be given to facilitate the ongoing investigation. All right, and they also said that it is only to be extended in rare circumstances, but they also said that any extension of tenure during superannuation should be for a short period and that no further extension beyond November 21 can be granted to him. So if this extension is given in that sense, Sarthak Naik, wouldn't be a direct violation of what the Supreme Court has already said?
No, absolutely not. When the petition was filed before the Honorable Supreme Court of India challenging that notification, in that notification, when it was challenged, the Supreme Court clearly and categorically interpreted the CVC Act and said that if it doesn't mean that if it is less than 2 years, if it is not more than 2 years, it can be extended up to 3 years. But immediately you have to take some action. As far as this ordinance is concerned, this ordinance was promulgated by the President of India, not by the government. When the President promulgates an ordinance, it has to be the subjective satisfaction of the President. President has applied its mind. Therefore, unless and until there is some violations of the provisions of the Constitution of India, or there is some colorable exercise of power, or the President has exceeded its power, then you can say that the ordinance has been brought to nullify the Supreme Court's order. Now that the Supreme Court order is there and there is an ordinance, we can say that today's age, the Supreme Court order is gone. Supreme Court never said that it cannot be extended beyond 2 years. Supreme Court said that it can be extended beyond 2 years, but immediately you have to take an action because at that point of time there was no ordinance. Moreover, let me tell you, clarify one thing. As far as CBI chief's tenure is concerned, the ordinance is misinterpreted. The ordinance says that 1 year term can be extended after 2 years. it can be extended by giving specific reasoning under the recommendation of the committee. The committee shall consist of the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, and also the Chief Justice of India. They all are independent body. Therefore, everybody has to give their opinion, and that is also subject to judicial review. If you go back to Vineet Narayan's judgment, Vineet Narayan's judgment in 1997 has stated that 2 years tenure is necessary in order to bring stability.
Okay. I'm going to come back to the tenure aspect. I'm going to come back to the tenure aspect, but I want Sanjay Hegde to respond to you first and foremost on what the court said. Sanjay Hegde, do you agree with Mr. Nayak when he says that it is not correct to say that the court said that there cannot be any further extension beyond November 2021 when its terms comes to an end? Was that said or not? Because there's a lot of argument about this.
Of course it was said, and the challenge was that the notification was changed to allow for 3 years. While upholding that 3 years, they said nothing further. Now the ordinance is what is seen as directly undoing a judgment on the facts of a case. That is what a government cannot do. Long ago in the Kaveri dispute, when Karnataka passed an ordinance to get over a Supreme Court order, the Supreme Court said, look, you are not the judicial body. You cannot sit in judgment over a judgment. You may be able to take away the basis of a judgment. So the previous judgment, insofar as Mr. Mishra is concerned, at least as far as I have read it, seems to be very certain that his tenure should not be extended.
Okay.
Of course, now let us see what the committee does, and let's not presume that the government will necessarily the government and the committee will necessarily give him an extension.
Okay.
So far, it has only taken it has got the power to do so.
Okay, let's get a response from Aman Sinha on that. Aman Sinha, where do you stand on that? Sanjay Hegde is saying don't assume that this one individual, this person who currently is the incumbent, will be given an extension.
Absolutely, Madhav. We cannot presume and then pass our sweeping blanket judgments based on our presumptions. The fact of the matter is that even the Vineet Narayan judgment simply says that the minimum tenure prescribed for CBI director is 2 years. It doesn't say that it cannot be extended beyond 2 years. In fact, on the contrary, Madhav, in a recent common cause case, the Supreme Court has held that there is no fetter on the power of the central government to appoint director ED in the very same incumbent who is there presently. So therefore, all that is incorrect reading of the Supreme Court judgments. I do not feel that in any way these ordinances are legally untenable, and they are fully sustainable in eyes of law, and they are in consonance to the judgments of the Supreme Court passed on this issue.
No, that may be so, but Aman Sinha, the question arises, why so many ordinances? There are over 70 ordinances, I believe, in the last 7 years that have been promulgated. I'm not questioning on the legality, but you know, the questions that are coming in from the opposition is that if these laws have to be passed, why not bring them through the parliamentary route? Why such a heavy dependence on the ordinance route?
Madhav, can you hear me?
Yes, Madhav, I can hear you, sir.
Did you ask this question to me?
Yes, the question is for you, Aman Sinha. These are questions coming in from opposition. They've just asked this question as well, that if you are confident about these laws, why not bring them through Parliament? Why do you have to go through the ordinance route is the question that have come. Over 70 such ordinances, I believe, that have been brought in, if I'm correct, that over the past 7 years.
No, Madhav, any government is entitled to issue an ordinance. When the Parliament is not in session, the propriety also demands that ordinance should be issued. And finally, the ordinances are to be ratified in the House, and they would be ratified in the House. So I do not feel that this is a debate which can be prolonged and elongated. When each and every ordinance is issued, some point of this nature is always argued. What was the need of doing so? The government has the power under the Constitution to issue such ordinances. Thereafter, it is being put to ratification before both houses of the Parliament. I do not see any untenability there. The government is working absolutely in consonance to Constitution and the law of the land.
Okay, Ghanshyam, I want you to respond to that. The government is working absolutely in consonance with the law of the land. There is nothing illegal about what the government has done. And at the end of the day, this is a framework and ordinances have been issued in the past, is Aman Sinha's argument. Please respond to him.
Well, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Let us see what happens by November 17. If this government extends the tenure of Mr. S.K. Mishra, then that will tell everybody in the country that all these arguments are hollow. This ordinance was brought in in the face of a certain situation, and this is a government that is a band-aid government. It reacts. It would react by raiding a CBI when it has to ensure that its view of a situation will prevail, and in some cases the justice will be hurdled. And in that sense, we will see what plays out. But clearly, if you take any independent constitutional institution in India, this government has done its bit to diminish it, and that is the voices that are coming across the country.
All right, RP Singh, Aman Sinha, Sarthak Nayak, Ghanshyam Tiwari, Riju Datta, Sanjay Hegde. We'll have to leave it at that for the moment. I'd like to thank you all for joining us, and of course, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. We will have to see what transpires in coming days as well.